Budding Charms, I'm feeling so hungry today. Oh, I missed my breakfast. But why do I feel so hungry if I miss one of my meals? Oh, that's where nutrition is so important, I guess. Hi, Budding Charms. I hope everyone is doing well and welcome back to the rapid recap session on the topic called nutrition in animals. So let's get started. My name is Aishwarya Sindhu Ramachandran and I will be a science educator today. Before getting into the main part of the session, let me tell you the basic tools available here. So we have an amazing comment box. If you find any kind of doubts in between, please don't hesitate to ask your doubts in the comment box. So please have a notebook and a pen along with you so they can note down the important points as we will be discussing a lot of concepts. So let's get started, and here we are going to start off with the basic contents of the chapter, starting from food intake in organisms. So let me change the color. So food intake in organisms, digestion in humans, parts of digestive tract, absorption and assimilation, digestion in ruminants, digestion in amoeba. So these are the basic topics that we will be learning today. So let's get started, and here you can see that the basic terms associated with our life processes. So here we are going to start off with the basic term called nutrition. So let me break it down for you. So what do you get out of your food? Can anybody tell me? Whatever the food is, whether it is an ice cream or fruit or a vegetable, whatever the food that you eat, you will get something common out of it. What is that? I'm excited to get your answers. So don't worry. So now we are going to reveal the answer. It's nothing but nutrients. So whatever the food item that you eat, you will get something called nutrients out of it. Do you agree with this? Yes, of course. So whatever the food item that you eat, you will get something called nutrients out of it. So these nutrients will be getting through the food and will be utilized by the body for growth, for development, and also for various metabolic activities. So intake and utilization of nutrients can be called it as nutrition. And what about ingestion? The very next concept, intake of food. So how do we eat food? Through our mouth, right? So the way of intake of food can be called it as ingestion. And what about the third one? It's nothing but digestion. What is meant by digestion? I told you that you will get nutrients out of your food. Correct? So these nutrients are actually very complex in nature. So this has to become simple forms. So the conversion of the complex substance into a simpler form can be called it as digestion. Very simple, right? So the nutrients that you get from the food undergoes breakdown to become simple components. So this can be called it as digestion. And now we are moving towards next one. It's all about food intake in organisms. How do we eat food? We eat food through our mouth. But this is not same in all the organisms. So that's what we are going to learn now. So look at the first term, humans. So humans eat through mouth. But what is the process? Chew and swallow. These are the two processes associated with it. And what about hummingbird, bees and butterfly? They prefer a method called sucking. And what about the next one? For frog, for snake, for earthworm, they prefer something called swallowing. So this is the intake method. And what about the spiders? Spiders prefer grinding method. Snails prefer chewing method. Ants prefer scraping method. Houseflies prefer brewing method. So now we are moving towards the next one, and it's all about digestion in humans. I told you that the food consists of nutrients. So these nutrients are complex. So we need to break it out so that what happens? It becomes simple components so that the body can absorb it really easily. So that is where digestion is very much required. But when you talk about digestion, we know that it has a system associated with it. So this is called digestive system. But when you talk about digestive system, it has digestive tract and digestive glands. So digestive system works with the help of digestive tract and digestive glands. So that's what we are going to learn in detail now. So look at it. You can see that digestive glands are of different types. But what are these glands exactly? So these are the organs that can secrete certain kind of juices, contain enzymes, and these enzymes are going to break down the nutrients. Got it? So this is what we are going to learn with this particular gland concept. So the very first one is nothing but mouth. So mouth is actually having salivary gland which produces salivary amylase, which is nothing but an enzyme, breaks down starch. Write down the points, very important. But when it comes to the part of stomach, stomach has gastric gland, produces gastric juice, consists of two enzymes here. The first one is pepsin, breaks down proteins. Second one, lipase, breaks down fats. Similarly, when it comes to the part of liver, liver produces bile juice, which is stored in the gallbladder, activate the enzyme called lipase. Similarly, when you come to the point of pancreas, pancreas produces pancreatic juice, and it consists of two enzymes here, trypsin and chymotrypsin, which can digest proteins. And what about amylase? This is a different enzyme which breaks down starch, and lipase breaks down fats. And now we are moving towards the next one. It's all about the parts of digestive tract. So what is digestive tract? Very simple. The path through which the food moves along the body. Got it? Very, very simple. But it has various parts associated with it. Starting from mouth, then it comes to esophagus, then the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and finally rectum and anus. So, but digestive tract has a different name too. What is it? Alimentary canal. So please don't forget the terms, as these are very, very important. And now look at it. It's all about the basic parts associated with it, and we are going to learn in detail. And now look at it. It's all about mouth. It starts from mouth, right? So it starts from mouth, and we know that this is also called buccal cavity. So buccal cavity consists of mainly two parts, tongue and teeth. And what is the basic function of teeth? It helps us to chew and grind the food. And what about the tongue, which help us to identify different tastes associated with the food items? And not only that, it helps us to swallow the food, right? Yes. So these are the basic functions associated with tongue and teeth. And now we are coming towards a part of tooth decay. So it's very important to maintain a good oral hygiene. And what if we don't maintain a good oral hygiene? We'll get tooth decay. How is it possible? That's what we are going to learn now. So there are bacteria right inside our mouth, and if we don't maintain a good oral hygiene, these bacteria are going to break down the sugars from the leftover food items. And what will happen? As a result of it, these bacteria are going to release some acids, and these acids are the basic reasons behind tooth decay. And now we are moving towards next one. It's all about esophagus. So after mouth, it comes to the part of esophagus. So esophagus also has a different name, which is known as food pipe. So please write down the points, which is also known as food pipe. So this is actually a pipe through which the food moves to the stomach. Please understand it. But when you talk about the pipe, it prefers a muscular movement to make the food go through the esophagus. So this movement can be called it as peristalsis. So peristalsis is a muscular contraction in which the food moves along the esophagus. Very simple, right? So this particular tube is going to end at your stomach. Now look at it. It's all about stomach. So stomach is a backlit structure, and it starts from esophagus and ends at small intestine. But what about the digestion? Oh, so partial digestion takes place here. So please understand, in stomach, partial digestion takes place. It's not the complete digestion. It is always partial digestion. So stomach can produce something called HCl. What is HCl? Hydrochloric acid. So this hydrochloric acid is going to kill the germs present inside your food items. Got it? So this is the way the HCl is going to help us in digestion. And now we are moving towards next one. It's all about small intestine. So what is meant by small intestine? Small intestine is also one of the parts associated with the digestive tract. But small intestine is a coiled organ. It is highly coiled. And look at the length, 7.5 meters. And it also receives secretions from liver and pancreas. And look at the digestion type. Complete digestion takes place here. And we know that there are some projections in the part of small intestine. So these finger-like projections can be called it as villi. So this villi has a very good surface area. Therefore, it helps in the effective absorption of nutrients. And now we are going towards a part of absorption. So we know that absorption can even happen in our small intestine, correct? But what is the assimilation? Absorption and assimilation. Both of these processes are different. Absorption means taking the nutrients out of the food by the small intestine. But what about assimilation? Please write it down. Absorbed nutrients taken up by the blood vessels get transported to various parts to build substances like proteins. So whatever the nutrients have been absorbed by the small intestine will be given to the blood vessels, and these blood vessels are going to carry these nutrients to specific sites, and that's where the building proteins can be done. Got it? Now we are moving towards next one. It's all about large intestine. So large intestine is 1.5 meters in length, and here the absorption of water and salt take place. And what about the final one? Rectum and anus. So waste matter is passed to the rectum, and this will be ejected through anus. Got it? And I hope you're clear with the parts. And now we are moving towards the digestion in ruminants. So what are these ruminants? Grass-eating animals. Very simple. So there are various steps associated with it. So now look at it. They actually eat food through their mouth and swallow. Write it down. Very, very important. They try to eat the food through mouth, then they swallow it. Then it reaches the esophagus and reaches stomach. But stomach has 4 compartments here. It's not similar to our stomach. It is a bit different here. So the cattle or the ruminants have 4 chambers in the stomach. So let's name them rumen, reticulum, omasum and abomasum. So these are the basic 4 chambers available within the stomach itself. And now what happens? The food that taken through the mouth will be reaching rumen first. Please understand, it reaches rumen first, and that's where the partial digestion occurs. It's not complete digestion, it is just a partial digestion, and therefore what happens? Cellulose will get digested by the bacteria present inside the rumen. Please understand, plants consist of cellulose. This has to be digested. So for that, bacteria are present right inside the rumen of ruminants. Okay, so the partially digested food has a very specific name here. This is called cud. Okay, please don't forget the term. It's nothing but cud. Cud is nothing but the partially digested food form. And now the cud goes back to the mouth and they try to chew continuously. Are you getting it? So whatever the food gets partially digested inside the rumen gets back to the mouth and they try to chew it again and again. Okay, you might have seen cattle chew all the time, right? It's actually the partially digested food from the rumen gets back to the mouth. Got it? Clear? And now, this is where the digestion occurs, and the digestion process has a very specific name called rumination. And now, the chewed food goes to the omasum through reticulum, and that's where the absorption takes place. So, from mouth, again it goes to the omasum through the second compartment reticulum, and that's where the absorption takes place. So please understand it. It's very, very important. I'm going very slow so that you will not get any kind of confusions here. Finally, the remaining food goes to the abomasum, and this is known as true stomach of the ruminant. And this is where the digestion takes place and goes to the intestines for remaining absorption. We are moving towards digestion in amoeba. So what is amoeba? A very single cell organism, and it regularly changes its shape, and amoeba capture food with pseudopodia. So what is meant by pseudopodia? It's nothing but the finger-like projections that you can see here. Look at it. This is nothing but the finger-like projection of amoeba. So this is how they trap the food. Look at it. They try to use a pseudopodia to get the food like this. Got it? And after that, a food vacuole will be formed, and this vacuole will be filled with digestive juices, and these digestive juices are helping in digestion, and therefore digestion takes place and absorption occurs, and the waste material will be released out through the food vacuole itself. It will be opened and the undigested food materials will be moving out. So this is how the amoeba's digestion occurs. And now what we are going to learn is all about the summary part. So we have discussed all the concepts today, starting from food intake in organisms, digestion in humans, part of digestive tract, absorption and assimilation, digestion in ruminants, and finally digestion in amoeba. So that's the end of the class. So we'll meet next day with an amazing session similar to this. Have a nice day and goodbye everyone.